guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can all see, I have Liat here again with me, and I'm sure you all know who she is by now. And we are here to let you know that we have produced yet another online course.
Yay!
So it came from so many of you requesting even more content from us because you all enjoyed our cake course so much, and so we decided the best thing to produce is the dessert table, the ultimate dessert table.
So it's something that we get asked about a lot, isn't it? It's like you make the big cake and everything, but when you have that party, you want to add some extra treats to your table, so it's not just the cake that everyone comes for. So that's exactly what we've covered in this course. And what's really great about it is that we've actually done like 2 versions of it, right?
Yeah, so we did more adult tables suitable for weddings, bachelorette parties, or a kids table.
We're using the same treats, but we're showing you different ways that you can decorate, arrange your table to suit the different events that we've got in mind.
And you can find all the information in the link in the description box. So to celebrate the course, we thought it would be fun to do a quick little Q&A because we always get loads of questions about us as individuals, but also about the course as well. So we have a few questions which we'll get straight into.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, what's the difference between our 2 courses?
Great question. Well, I think you can tell the difference from the names. So we have our Cake Perfect course and our new course, Sweet Treats. Our first course was focused on cake decorating.
Right.
So we not only take you through how to bake perfect sponge cakes, buttercream, and how to stack and fill a cake to the crumb coat stage, but we also teach 5 separate designs that we teach here at Baker Street.
So for those of you who can't make it to the studio, it's a great way for you to learn how to do some of our signature designs.
Yes. And our Sweet Treats course is more recipes firstly.
Yeah.
So you've got loads of different sweet treats on there and how to bring them all together and decorate a dessert table. So I think they're 2 totally different courses, but there are a few crossovers.
Absolutely.
Like for example, in the second course we do have a cake, but it's a 2-tiered cake. So it's already more of an advanced level than the first one.
Exactly.
So again with the course, do I need experience to take the course?
No. This course is for everyone. We go through everything, and we say this in the workshops that we do in the studio as well. We teach in a way that it's suitable for everyone. So whether you've never done anything before or whether you do have some experience, we're going to teach you from the very beginning. And it's just a great way for you to learn different ways of doing things and learn our tips and tricks.
Yeah, even if you do have experience.
Exactly.
As well.
So it is really suited for everyone. There is some minimal equipment needed, but we do guide you through everything. So here's one for you. What is your favourite piece of baking equipment? And cake decorating, baking and cake decorating.
I think there's a favourite, but I think there's also the most necessary.
Okay, go on.
So most necessary is a stand mixer.
Absolutely, 100%.
I don't think I can survive without one. And then my favourite, I think, a side scraper. A good side scraper makes all the difference. I remember when I started off cake decorating and I had a small plastic one, just by changing to a good quality stainless steel one with a sharper edge, create sharper edges on the cake. How about you?
Okay, going on from your side scraper is a good turntable.
Yeah.
So I started making cakes and I had a plastic turntable. I learned how to smooth out cakes really well using that. However, when I earned enough money for my business, I saved up and bought myself a really fancy metal turntable, and that made all the difference. It makes a difference because you become more efficient, and then you can make more cakes because you do it faster, it takes less work. So definitely a turntable.
And I think you get a better result as well.
Absolutely. And the second one is a bit random, and it's more directed to like fondant work. It's my pizza cutter. I love my pizza cutter, and I think it's just a great tool to have because it's a sharp blade and it's a really good way to get nice, clean, straight lines easily. So I'm going to stick my pizza cutter there.
Nice. Oh, that's a cake
would
alarm.
Be right back.
Cake's okay?
All good.
So, here's a good one. How to make bigger cake quantities for bigger cake tins.
Right. Okay, so it's not as straightforward because it all depends on how big we want to go height-wise as well.
Yes.
But if we want to keep in proportion height-wise as our 6-inch, which is our standard recipe that we always use and that we refer to, so then you add another 6-inch batch to every 2 inches of cake size.
Yes. So an 8-inch is double the 6-inch.
Right.
But a 10-inch is 3 times the 6-inch.
Exactly.
12-inch is 4 times.
that's right.
14 inch, I guess, is 5 times, but I don't even think I've gone that
I don't think
big.
I've gone that big.
Also, another thing to note, I think people usually bake bigger cakes, and I've had comments recently going, I usually bake a 12 inch.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a very big
It's
cake
huge.
because we focus on
Tight.
taller cakes. So we have 4 layers of cake. You could probably bake a 6-inch batter in a 12-inch cake, but it would be
Absolutely.
really, really shallow.
So it all depends on what sizes you're going for. When you look at our cakes all the time, both in our courses and like our cakes that we make ourselves, we go for height. We like that look of a smaller cake with the height. You still get the same amount of servings. It's all about learning how to cut it right, which is something we cover in our Cake Perfect course. That way, for some of our designs as well, it allows us to decorate on the sides of the cake as well, and it just has that really nice appeal, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go for this one. Do you do eggless or vegan cakes?
I think my followers know this already. The answer is no, we don't.
We don't.
That's not because we disagree with it or anything, because obviously we understand that people can't eat it for various reasons. We just don't specialise in it. We use eggs, butter, milk. That's how we learnt. It's what we work with. There are plenty of other chefs and bakers and cake decorators out there that specifically specialise in vegan and eggless products.
Yeah.
And we don't.
Because I think most important to us is flavour.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't want to substitute our flavour and how good our cakes taste.
Exactly.
Which is why it's just something that we've not delved into. But as you said, there are plenty of amazingly talented bakers who do.
And regarding our Cake Perfect course, one can still apply the techniques learnt from the course. If, for example, you have a great dairy-free buttercream that you trust, you can still use the Cake Perfect course to your advantage and learn some new techniques. However, we have to cover ourselves by saying some techniques just may not work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, baking is a science and there's only certain things that butter will allow or butter alternatives will allow. Here's a cute one, and we get asked this a lot. How did we meet?
How did we meet Georgia?
Not Tinder.
So it's a really cute story, actually. So a few years ago, before Georgia moved to Tel Aviv, I had already been here for several years, and I had a cake business, and I was making and selling my cakes. And for all those cake makers out there who work from their home kitchens, you'll know that it's actually a very solitary job. You're by yourself all day long, and I think most people are listening to the radio or watching like Netflix back to
Not
back.
having a conversation with another human is normal.
Right. And then it came up on one of my sponsored ads that Georgia Green is coming to do a course here. And I was like, oh my gosh, how much fun would that be for me to be able to go to a course and meet other bakers and do it in English?
Yeah.
And you were doing like a whole dessert table. And although I already had like the cakes and I knew what I was doing learning cakes, it was like the other dessert table things I was mainly interested. Actually, at the time, it was the macarons, because I was struggling back then with my macarons.
To be fair, they're macarons.
Yeah, macarons. And I was like, great, I'm going to sign up. And it was like my birthday week, so it was a treat to myself. And so we actually met at one of Georgia's workshops here. And it was really, really nice, and it was a great experience. It was a 2-day workshop, and after that, you hadn't moved here yet.
No.
And we had like kept a little bit in touch. We had like a few exchanges, I think, on Instagram, and then it must have been like 6 months later or something. You actually messaged me looking for a kitchen space because you were coming to make your for your friend's wedding, and to make the wedding cake. And at this point, I was already thinking about expanding. I had outgrown my home kitchen, and I was actually looking for a place. I said, no, I don't have a place yet, but I am looking. And from that moment, George wrote, I'm coming next week, let's meet for coffee, let's talk.
Because I had the exact same idea. And so we met, sat down, and we decided to open
a business together. We literally sat over avocado on toast.
I remember that. Delicious.
And we're like, so I have this idea to open a workshop space where I can make my cakes and do workshops. And you were like, well, I'm thinking of moving to Tel Aviv and opening a workshop space. Should we do it together?
We were like, yeah, okay.
Okay, fine.
Everyone thought we were crazy, which we kind of are. But worked out for the best.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is the hardest part of running a business?
Ooh. Great question. I think there's 2 things. First, what has been the hardest thing is we opened mid-pandemic.
As all clever people do.
And we opened and then had to close due to lockdown a week later.
Yeah.
Then we opened up again.
Yeah.
And as soon as we were open, it got really busy and it was great. And then we had to close again for another lockdown. And that really, really took its toll. And
it was hard. We went
was
for a really hard
time. We
time.
kind of went into panic mode, did a few DIY kits, planned all these various, like, let's do this, online, da-da-da-da, and I think it burnt us out at one point, and we decided to just...
We had burnout. We did at one point. It took its toll on us, kind of. It was hard. It was, you have this big idea, you have this vision, you have this dream, you build a studio, and you think, oh, it's going to be one thing, and then to keep getting shut down every time it, like, took off, like, it got shut down. I think that was really hard on us. But I will say this. We're still here.
We're still here. And we're still smiling. But I think the hardest part, like, every day is doing everything. And I think that's applied to our own businesses as well as the business together. We've seen numerous memes and posts on this. You aren't at a job from 9 till 5 and that's it.
We're like 24/7.
It's 24/7, but not just that. You're not just decorating cakes. So in the studio, we're actually teaching, but we're also setting up before and cleaning up after.
We do all our cleaning, we do our shopping supplies, we do our own accounting,
we do our admin, we do our social media. Then we have to do basically all the stuff behind the scenes which no one sees.
Yeah.
And if it's not on Instagram, it doesn't exist. And we actually have the opposite, that sometimes we don't even have time to share and post, and it's kind of that vicious cycle.
It's literally just me and you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to, like, answer messages instantly and to get to things, and we're like, I really want to, but my hands are in cake. So it is, I think that's, like, one of the hardest things as well, is kind of realising that we are Baker Street, Georgia's Cakes and Baked. We are, like, everything, and it's just us.
It's a lot. So back to referring to our courses, can the online courses be accessed from anywhere?
Yes, and that's the great thing about this. So when we opened Baker Street, we got lots of people from all over the world, and it was mid-pandemic, messaging us, wish I could come to the studio, wish it was here. So when we got the chance to make this online course, we were like, yes, this is great, because this is for everyone, anywhere. As long as you've got the internet and you can download the course, then you can do this course wherever you are in the world.
When you go onto the courses links, which I've posted below, it will say dollars. But once you go to checkout, it will convert to your local currency, and again, you can access it from anywhere you are.
Fan or conventional setting on the oven?
We're laughing because we have our own setting, and we call it the Georgia and Liat setting. So Liat setting is the conventional. Now, when we say conventional, it's the logo is the 2 lines without the fan or turbo. And my setting is the fan. And so we're like, is it your setting or my setting?
So now we've adapted different recipes with different fan settings because we've been able to experiment really and see what works best. So some things we do make with the fan, and some things we do with conventional, and also if we're doing, like, big batches where we're using multiple shelves, obviously, we make adjustments for that.
And I think it just does depend on what you are making.
Absolutely.
Which is covered in our course, especially the dessert table course as well.
Exactly.
All right, our last question.
Okay.
I love this question, and everyone wants to know, biggest baking disaster.
Where do I start? No, I'm joking. There are times where you're making a cake and things do go wrong, and then you're scrambling to fix it. That's fine. I've happened quite a few times. But I think my biggest disaster is actually a non-baking, because it would be when I forgot a cake order. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it would be like a Friday night, and I was really chuffed with myself, and I just, like, made dinner and was getting everyone ready for bed, and then I get a text message going, what time should I pick up the cake tomorrow? And my head just went, oh my sweet Lord.
Oh my gosh, what did you do?
I stayed up all night making this cake, and it was like a 3D shaped cake as well.
So they don't know that you forgot.
No, they don't know, which is why I'm not actually describing what cake it is.
Good.
So I stayed up all night long making this giant cake. So that was my biggest disaster.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I think that's worse than dropping a cake, because at least you've got something to work with.
Yeah, there was nothing.
I think my biggest baking disaster, I've had a few uncooked cakes, you know, especially if they're doing a larger size.
Yes.
There was one which really stuck with me. I was doing a wedding cake, and we're talking 4 tiers. So I think there was a 12-inch on the bottom.
Oh.
It was fitting everything in time-wise. It was past midnight by now, and, you know, you're a bit tired, and you haven't left the house, and you haven't had fresh air, probably not eaten. I was like, I'm just going to get the drips on and then do everything else the next day. I was looking at the ganache and I was like, I don't think this is going to work, but I'm too tired to not.
So you took the risk?
And I just did it, and I was like, this is not good. Plus, it was a white cake on the outside. Dark chocolate.
Oh, no.
So I had no choice but to scrape the whole side off. I left it at the crumb stage, and then the next day I just woke up early and started fresh.
I think, like, the moral from that story as well is when you get to that point of exhaustion, walk away.
Walk away.
There's been many nights where you're up, and I'm sure other bakers can relate, that you're up past midnight, still working on something, everything is going wrong. At that point, stop.
So they were great questions. Thanks again for joining me. So if you do purchase the course, we would love to see what you create with them. So don't forget to tag all of us, whether it's at Baker Street TLV, at George's Cakes, which is of course me, and at Caked and Baked, which is Liat's personal Instagram. We would love to see what you create, and also we hope you enjoy it, because we had so much fun filming the courses, both of them, but I think especially the sweet treats, because it's something slightly different. It's not what we do every day.
Exactly.
And yeah, we really hope you enjoy it. And of course, thanks again for all your continuous support. And I'll definitely see you soon, and I'm sure you'll see Liat soon as well.
Bye.
Bye.